Hey, welcome back. This is Stephen Young with Young Realty with your June Toronto real estate market report. Let's get into it. This is your 5-minute market report. If you got 5 minutes, let's run it down. So this month is the sort of month of supply and lack of purchasing power. So when it comes down to it, this is a snapshot of what happened in June of 2025. There were 17,500 new listings that came to market in 30 days, which is unbelievable. This is getting to a point where it's almost a 30-year high of supply. The actual sales that happened were just over 6,000, which in pretty much any city in North America is saying that's incredible for a year. But for Toronto, 6,000 a month is almost about 50% off the normal average pace. And the average price, yes, it's come down year over year, about 5%, but that trend is slowing. So we're not seeing a crash or anything like that. What we're seeing is a very just small correction. So if you are a buyer and you're waiting on the sidelines for a price correction, it's probably not coming anytime soon. The key point and takeaway of this is the sales to listings inventory is at 35.3%. So what does that mean? It means you only have about a 30% chance to sell your house that's on the market. Toronto normally historically averages around 60%. So we're almost half of the average. So all the numbers point to negativity, but there is some positives. Look, 6,000 transactions is still a lot of transactions. So the market is still active. You know, realtors are struggling for some degree, but you can still find activity out there. People still need to look. People are still getting married. They're getting divorces. People are dying. People are having new members of the family. They're getting babies. They're outgrowing their homes. They're going up the property ladder, down the property ladder. So many things change in real estate. No matter what's going on in the market condition, there's still activity, still movement. So that's the positive and takeaway. But you need to understand the numbers if you're going to make a decision this month or next, if you're going to be buying or selling. And the key takeaway is that supply is just outpacing demand. 17,000 new homes, only 1 out of 3 out of 10 homes are actually selling that are going to market. Buyers have more choice, they have less pressure, but interest rates are quite high, so they're not really that motivated to act, and they're still sitting on the sidelines. And with sellers, the key takeaway is if your pricing is not perfect, guess what? Buyers are just going to go to the next property. So pricing is key when it comes to this market. So the pricing trends, now the problem with taking just a snapshot of June, yes, rates have come, or the average price point has come down year over year compared to the last year's June. But if you take, last 10-year look, we're still way up, right? So don't panic too much if you're a seller. Just understand you've probably missed the peak of the market, but it hasn't come down dramatically. 5% is not a huge correction in the marketplace. And anticipating moving forward, it won't be crashing, but it most likely will be slowing and stabilizing around this number, which is a good thing. And when it comes to homes, they're taking longer to sell. For sellers, you have to have it staged. It's got to be perfect. It's got to be priced right. And it's more critical to have the best marketing out there. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have the right team behind you, the right realtor, the right understanding of how to do things in this marketplace, in these down markets, your home's just going to sit there and it's not going to shine and it's not going to stand out from everybody else. And that's key and critical in this marketplace. But for buyers, now is the time to actually get out there. Now is the time to act. It's kind of contrarian. You're going against kind of your gut instincts. It's like, oh, the market seems bad. Interest rates are high. Who knows what's going on? But now is when you want to buy. Now is when you're going to find the biggest bang for your buck. You're going to get the most home, the best home for the lowest price. And that's just historically what's going to happen. So when it comes to the buyer market dynamics, so buyers in Toronto especially, like we average around 100 to 107% sales to listing price. What that means is if you're a seller, you're generally getting your asking price or more, which is historical average. June was at 93%, meaning if you're selling for $1 million, you're only going to get 930. So you're going to get 70,000 below, which is the average, which again, these are historical lows for the Toronto real estate market. So monthly sales are up compared to May of last year, which is nice, but supply is really out of whack. And when it comes down to seller strategies, again, pricing is key. Pricing is mandatory to be perfect. Now, the one thing that's affecting the buying side are the mortgage rates did not come down the way they were anticipated to come down. So what you have to do is you can't afford as much as you thought you probably could have, and banks are making it difficult to get mortgages in this marketplace. So most buyers, unfortunately, they're waiting on the sidelines for either a market correction, which is probably realistically is not coming because we're not seeing a crash. We're seeing just a stabilization. And they're also waiting for interest rates decline, which they were anticipating for June, and they did not. July, most likely not coming down. Realistically, not till 2026. So if you're a buyer waiting for those two, you're going to be waiting a long time, and you potentially will miss this low in the market on the buying side. So I would still get in. But the key takeaway is get pre-approved now, because if you can't get pre-approved from the bank, you don't want to wait until you find a property that's available, and then you only find out you can't get the mortgage for it. And when it comes to sellers, consider timing strategy. So if you don't necessarily want to sell now with a huge supply and a lot of competition, you may want to wait till the fall if you can, or into 2026 is even better, because you'll have realistically less supply and less interest rates. Motivated sellers, yeah, there's lots of them. So we are seeing increased listings, like the most all time. Negotiation openness. We are seeing crazy incentives from sellers. We're seeing they're paying huge commissions. They're paying to just attract agents to bring their clients to their properties. We're seeing massive credits on closing, massive credits to pay legal fees, credits for construction costs, credits for renovations and incentives. So we're really seeing a lot of that. That's the trend, because we're trying to attract these buyers into our opportunities. But the key opportunity, key takeaways, the things that are actually selling are the ones that are the homes are essentially perfect. We're not seeing fixer-uppers being sold. We're not seeing big projects or big headaches being sold. We're seeing nice, easy, simple negotiation strategies that are priced right, and sellers are willing to sell and buyers willing to pay the price. That's the key takeaway, what's actually moving. So in the market summary, year over year sales is down 2.4%. Listings are up 7.7%, and the prices are down 5.5%. The key notes are, if you're a seller, you got to be strategic on your pricing. And if you're a buyer, now is the prime negotiation window, and the best deals are right now, not 6 months from now. So what's the takeaways? The strategies are, the market has shifted. It is a pure buyer's market right now. So if you're a buyer, get your deal right now. Rates, they're not coming down, most likely not to 2026. Sellers need to be realistic if they're actually going to sell. They're not going to be competing. If you have an agent out there right now saying price low and look for multiple offers and competing bids, that's the wrong strategy. So make sure the key takeaways are you talk to a professional, just like myself. So you can contact me at steven@youngrealty.ca, or check out our website, youngrealty.ca. And that is this month's market report. See you next month.